Hi, Stefan Swartling here.
I believe Apple will release a 7-inch tablet, probably this October. I don't think it will be an iPad mini. I think it will be a bigger iPod Touch. And the reason to that is then it will not hurt the iPad brand. They can evolve the iPod brand instead into a reading device, a perfect reading device with a 7-inch screen. I'm not sure it will be a 7-inch screen. It could only be a 5.3-inch screen too. I'm not sure yet, but probably a 7-inch screen. Many users on the web doesn't agree with me, and they don't like the idea that Apple will release a 7-inch tablet. I don't understand why, because it's a perfect reading device. The iPad is more like a computer with a 9.7-inch screen. A 7-inch iPod Touch would be a perfect reading device where we could read news using Flipboard, Tweetbot, and so on, and we could read ebooks on it and also magazine. So if you think of an iPod Touch 7-inch as a reading device, then it will be more useful than you think. An iPad to me is too big to have for reading. For example, you can't lay on your side in bed reading with your iPad, it's too big. But with a 7-inch iPod Touch, you can. And many articles on the web are saying that they will release a 7-inch tablet this fall, an iPad mini. But I think I am the only one that says it will be an iPod Touch, a bigger iPod Touch. And another reason that I think it will be an iPod Touch is that they can make it a lot cheaper. So it will cost around the Nexus 7 price, $199 for 8 gigabyte storage, and $249 for 16 gigabyte storage. And it doesn't need to be Retina. That way it can be cheaper, and the quality will still be great as the iPod Touch quality and so on. Many users doesn't agree with me, both from the Apple side and from the Android side. They don't like my idea. But I think it's perfect for Apple to do that, because then they can take back market share from the Kindle Fire and Nexus 7 and Barnes & Noble's Nook. I think it will be great. I would buy it. I would really buy a bigger iPod Touch as a reading device. I recently sold my iPad 1 because it was too big for me. The only thing I did with that was reading on it, and everything else more advanced I used my 11-inch MacBook Air for. So I think a 7-inch tablet, an iPod Touch, I would buy it directly because it's the perfect reading device. Christopher Rizzo says that a 7-inch iPod Touch could not cost the same price as the iPod Touch do now. Yeah, I agree with that, but I think Apple could lower the price to compete with the Nexus 7. So if the Nexus 7 can cost $249 for 16 gigabyte storage, I think an iPod Touch could cost the same. I'm sure of that. And Scott Jackson says that the 7-inch form factor is not proven yet. But I don't agree with that, because the Kindle Fire sells a lot, and I think the Nexus 7 will sell a lot too. I see people will have a smaller tablet to have as a reading device. People want that. And I think bigger iPod Touch, a 7-inch iPod Touch, will use the same screen resolution as iPad 2 has. So it will use iPad apps, not iPhone apps. If Apple releases a smaller 5.3-inch screen size, then I think it will use iPhone apps instead and have the iPhone resolution, and probably the new iPhone resolution. So it will share apps between the new iPhone and the new bigger iPod Touch. But if it is a 7-inch tablet, it will use the same resolution as the iPad 2 and share apps with the iPad.